The most insane Zenith of power just finished in Rise of Kingdoms only around 12 hours ago now, and what's so insane about the Zenith is it's a city skin we've never ever seen with how strong it actually is. So now with these insane city skins releasing, is the Zenith of power worth doing for pretty much every player? Should most players consider saving up and trying to push for a Zenith, or are they still so expensive that they're just not worth the speed ups? And today, I will answer that question. I will discuss where the current meta of the city skins is at. I will tell you which city skins are the best ones to try and focus on. I will give you literal testing results of people with a Zenith skin and people without a Zenith skin going head to head in an equal 1v1 to see how many speed ups you would actually save. I will show you a cost breakdown of what it takes to win a Zenith. And finally, I'll tell you, is it worth getting a Zenith for your account, or are they too expensive and not worth it for you? So if you want to know if a Zenith is going to be the right thing for you, or if you want to know how much they cost, or even if the city skins are strong in general, you want to stick around till the end of the video. So now let's start off today's video by discussing why are the modern city skins, the new meta skins, better than the older ones, that they actually give you some amount of value. And the reason is because these older city skins right here actually didn't give you any stats. You were just trading and basically swapping the stats that you currently had. So I would lose 5% cavalry health and 5% archer defense here, but I would gain 10% infantry defense. So I'm gaining 10% of stats at the cost of 10% of stats. There is no real gain here. It is pretty much an equal trade, especially if you're running multiple marches. You're probably going to find, okay, I'm going to be up 5 or 10% total stats if I'm running a lot of infantry or a lot of cavs or whatever the troop type is. But then I'm obviously losing stats overall compared to my other marches, so it's really only a small stat increase. And the same thing with epic city skins. You're losing some amount of stats, you're gaining some amount of stats, and it's pretty much always going to be equal. But with the last maybe 9 to 12 months of city skins being released, we've been noticing they have 15% of stats, and you're only still losing 10%. So right here, I have 15% cavalry health, I'm only losing 5% archer attack and 5% infantry defense. So I'm losing 10%, I'm gaining 15%. So all the modern city skins, every single modern legendary city skin that's come out, is pretty much up 5% of stats compared to every other player. So regardless, in these city skins, you're actually pretty much getting a permanent stat boost. It's not like a temporary thing, or it's not like an equal stat boost. It's just literally you are getting a permanent boost no matter what. No matter what marches you run, you're pretty much going to be at a permanent boost here if you ran the city skin. And obviously that is much more powerful than being at an equal boost with another player, even being at a deficit in stats, depending on some of the city skins. So obviously these new and modern city skins are going to be way more powerful than the older city skins, but that doesn't mean they're all worth it, because some city skins are going to be stronger than others. So which city skins should you consider getting? And when you're looking for a city skin to unlock, you need to have a few things in mind. First of all, are the stats good? Are you getting health or defense as your main stat? And are you losing low amounts of health and low amounts of defense? So if I'm gaining a ton of health right here, like 15% cav health like this skin, I'm losing attack and I'm losing defense, that is really, really good value for me, because I'm losing a non-premium stat, being archer attack, and I'm losing a semi-non-premium stat, being infantry defense. So I'm losing attack and defense while I'm gaining health, which is obviously really, really strong. The next thing I would consider when trying to look for a city skin is how many troop type marches are you running for the troop type that you're getting. So, for example, here, this is a cavalry health skin. You need to run at the bare minimum 2 cav marches, at least probably 3, to consider it being good value, because if not, I presume you're running a lot of archers or a lot of infantry, and the issue with that is you're running those commanders and they're going to be losing stats. They're going to be losing stats because of the city skin, and if you're only running like 1 cav march, you may even be net negative on stats. So for example, if I ran 1 cav, 3 archers, 2 infantry, I'm getting 15% of cav health and then 25% stats lost between my archers and infantry, which is obviously going to be bad value for me. So if you're not running enough troop types for that city skin, then it's not going to be very good value, because you're going to be maybe even net negative on stats. So make sure when you're looking for a city skin, you look at the type of stats you're getting and if you are running the correct troop type for it. So now that we know the current meta for city skins, which ones are good and what they are actually looking like right now, what would it actually take for you to win a Zenith? And the reason I bring this up is because winning a Zenith is not like many other events. It's not like your kingdom can even decide who wins a Zenith, because the way a Zenith works is it's your kingdom versus everybody else. So let's say right now I'm in 2365. It's me on my own versus 2365 and every other kingdom on my continent. That is 8 other kingdoms that I'm versing for a chance to win a city skin. And I have to get within the top 10 players, because top 11 only get a temporary city skin, while top 10 get the permanent. So if I'm trying to win out of, let's say, at least 1,000 players, I'm trying to win a city skin to get the top 10, I better have a lot of speed ups on me. And this can be made really difficult if you're in a continent with an Imperium kingdom. Let's say you're in a continent with like 1093, you're pretty much screwed, because 1093 is one of the strongest Imperiums currently in the game. they're probably just going to buy the city skin. Or maybe if you're in a kingdom with 1960, you're still probably screwed because they're probably just going to buy the city skin from you. So this is a big KVK. Wow. You're going to be pretty much screwed over because if you want to get this Zenith skin, you're going to need a lot more speed ups than if you were in any other continent because there are a lot of whales and Imperiums and not as many whales in other kingdoms. So that basically means that if you want to win a Zenith of Power, it is also dependent on your continent, but on average, to pretty much guarantee a Zenith win, depending on where you are, obviously, you're going to probably need 40 million power gain. This can be less, like you can see in my continent. This person got a win with 25 million, and it can be more. This person won with 44 million. This could not even be the case in some Imperium continent. So a continent with 60 GT, you're probably going to be looking at like 60 million power gain, depending on how crazy they push. So Zenith of Powers can be difficult to win, but how much would they actually cost? And for 40 million power, which is 4 million tier 5 infantry in this calculation, and with a 100% training boost, which means the only thing you're missing is the legendary city skin, it's going to cost you 2,777 days of speed ups, which is a ridiculous amount, and pretty much on the dot, 10 billion resources, literally 10 billion resources on the dot. That is extremely expensive. Most players do not have 3.2 billion food, 3.2 billion wood, 1.6 billion gold, and almost 3,000 days of speed ups sitting around to push a Zenith of Power. That is probably the most expensive event in the whole entire game. Nothing even comes close, besides maybe fighting in KVK. So what you're looking at with the Zenith is a really, really expensive win, and the risk is, if you don't get top 10, you're basically throwing your resources away, because rank 11 to 20 is just bad value. You don't really care about the freaking frame around your profile picture. You don't really care about the temporary skin. The gems are low. The golders are really, really low. There's one legendary material and a small amount of speed ups. So you really have to get the top 10. So if you're going for a Zenith, you got to go all out. And obviously, sometimes you don't need 40 million power. Like here, we saw someone with 25 million. If I put that into my machine where I calculate all this is his ORK calculator. Let's say I put in 2.5 million tier 5 infantry. Then that means it's going to cost you around 1,736 days of speed ups and then around 5 billion resources. So still really expensive even to get a top 10 spot. And she's really risking it here. She's like really probably right on the line with how many resources she had to spend. There's probably someone below her with like 24 million power. So really, if you want to get the top 10 in the Zenith, to really secure it in smaller kingdoms, you probably need around 30 million power game. If you're in a bigger continent, you're going to need around 40 to 50, maybe even 60 to 80 million power to get a good secure spot in the Zenith. So they are really expensive and really difficult to win. So with that ridiculous cost, a Zenith of Power is actually worth pushing, because if you're spending thousands of days of speed ups and billions of resources, are they going to save you that much? And to see this, I tested it on ROK Tester, and we're going to switch over to that right now. So here is the ROK Tester, and for this test, you might be wondering, why am I running City Keeper? Well, he's basically just a baseline commander, and the only difference is I gave him 15% extra health on one side compared to another side, and the reason is because I'm emulating one side having a city skin and one side not even having an epic city skin. So you're in the best case scenario here. You've got equal stats, one side's just got more health, one side doesn't, and the trades were actually pretty interesting. There were two trades I ran that were both completely equal, because this is a completely equal test at this point, and the reason this interested me is because the side without the 15% health lost by 6,000 severely wounded units. The side with this 15% health won by 6,000 severely wounded units. So what happened here was you got a really, really good trade for the side with the extra health. But the one thing you would like to note here is that the battle took really, really long. This 15% health is probably not going to really kick in a shorter battle, because right here, when I ran this test, it ran 8 minutes. Both of these tests took 8 minutes to complete, and most open field situations won't last 8 minutes. Either by the time that happens, someone's going to jump in and fight back. So they're going to run away. They're either going to bring in other commanders. Something's going to happen within 8 minutes. So this 15% health in a real open field situation probably isn't going to kick in as quickly, and it's not going to be as valuable. So the only time this would be really a report like this is maybe in a rally. If the garrison literally didn't even have a city skin on and you did, then this might be slightly closer. So really, what's going to happen on the open field is you might get like a 200 7 difference, and I will quickly run a test to see what that would really look like. So now here is the test I'm going to run. I'm going to run a Sargon Scipio versus a Sargon Scipio. Each side's going to have 200% attack to 160% defense. One side's going to have 80% health, emulating a non-existent city skin. The other side's going to have 95% health, which is like having a Zenith infantry city skin. And in this situation, after 30 seconds, let's say 30 seconds is like the longest you'll pretty much fight on the open field, how much more saves will the health have dealt than if they didn't have that health? So I will take a picture at 30 seconds and I'll get back to you guys. So now here is a picture of the fight at exactly 30 seconds. I paused at 30 seconds, I took this photo, And it means that the health is winning by around 400 severely wounded units. So how many battles would it actually take to make up for the amount of resources and amount of speed ups you had to spend on the city skin? Or is it really just so expensive that it's not even worth it? And I'll punch in the math and I'll get back to you guys again. Now, before I get into the results I literally just got, which were literally mind-shaking, I'm not no mathematician. I am really not that amazing with math. But what I got from basically doing the math is that if I wanted to get proper value for my Zenith of Power, I spent 2,777 days worth of speed ups, I'm going to need to fight 196,000 times for 30 seconds. 196,000 battles will bring me even on the amount of speed ups I spent if I were to heal my troops at VIP 16. So healing tier 5 infantry 400 at VIP 16 takes 20 minutes and 30 seconds, excluding help. So if you had helps, this number will be even higher. And in that situation, to get the value from your speed ups which you would need to fight for almost 2.5 years straight. You would need to be in combat fighting 2.5 years straight to get enough value from the city skin to justify it with one march. Obviously, this gets drastically decreased the more marches that you run, but at the max, you probably have to fight for 6 months straight with 7 marches to get real value for this. And most players can't fight for 1.5 years. 1.5 years straight. Most players are not going to be fighting literally, like you have to be in combat for 1.5 years. Your troops have to be fighting for 1.5 years worth of real time to save the same amount of speed ups that it costs to get the Zenith. 1.5 years on Rise of Kingdoms actively fighting is ridiculous, like absolutely insane. And for the open field, that's just literally just not worth it. Like in every single situation, that is just not worth it. No one is going to fight that much. The game will literally shut down by the time that happens. If you want to fight for 1.5 years without sleeping, maybe you get the value. If not, then it's going to be pretty much impossible. So what I've noticed is, right off the bat with that testing, the Zenith of Power city skin is not worth it. Even the best city skin ever, the Cavalry Health, if we negate the negative effects and say it's only going to be positive for you, then it's just not even worth the resources and the speed ups you would need to get the most value from it. And even if you were to do 25 million power worth of speed ups and resources, that's still almost at least a year worth of straight fighting just to get enough value from it. So for free-to-play low spenders, that's just bad value. But who is a Zenith actually worth it for? And from what I've seen with the testing, the only time this seems to be good, the Zenith of Power, is in a long exchange. Like we saw with the City Keeper, it won by 6,007 wins in an 8-minute battle. And not many 1v1s go for 8 minutes. Actually, no 1v1s with modern commanders will go for 8 minutes. So what will go for 8 minutes? And flags and garrisons are the real answer. If you're doing a rally in a flag or you're garrisoning a flag, that can go for hours and hours and hours on end. And in those situations, those 15% of stats make a big difference. And the reason this is really good is because it's going to increase exponentially. And the reason that is the case is because if we have to keep putting less troops in, because let's say our past garrison had 15% more health, and you have to keep putting more troops in, your trade's just going to get gradually worse and worse. You have to keep putting more troops, we keep putting less troops because our garrison's up 15% health, and if a battle goes for 12 hours, you might even see a rally could get maybe a 300, 400, 500, 600, maybe even up to a million power difference in the amount of deads they took if they are running 15% extra health. So in those situations, the Zenith skin's much better to run because you can use it in a pass or garrison where you're not only saving yourself dead troops and resources and speed ups you would have to use in them, but you're also saving your allies dead troops, resources, and speed ups. And the best part about it is not only are you saving them those resources and speed ups, you're also possibly holding onto a pass, a garrison, maybe stopping a flag or a fort from burning in a much better way because it's much cheaper, and that could literally win you KVK. So in those situations, then yeah, the Zenith skin's worth it, but for the open field, it is pretty much straight off the bat just a very bad value item. So now that we know if you wanted to get a legendary city skin at 14 million power, it would take you a year and a half straight of fighting on the open field to get the most value from it, who should really get a Zenith city skin? Who is it worth going for? And I think this is obviously a little bit dependent on your continent. If you're in Imperium, it's pretty much impossible. It's bad value for anyone but Mega Whales. But in other continents, the real people I'd recommend pushing for a Zenith skin is someone who's in a rally or garrison-oriented account. For me, it would be bad value. I would spend literally all my speed ups resources and have to probably buy more to even have a chance at winning. And I do counter rallies with my Henry every now and again. That's definitely not going to be worth it for me. But if I was someone who's rallying, garrisoning, I'm a big spender in the game, I'm going to go and try and get the kingdom to actually win a KVK, then I'm going to need that city skin to improve our chances of winning. But if I'm on the open field, it's actually almost going to be bad value for me. I'm going to lose out on speed ups and resources, which could be allocated towards my open field fighting, which would literally do better than the Zenith skin. Obviously, you get more troops with this, but really, what are you going to do with the troops? You're just going to kill them. So, yes, that's going to help your KVK, but it's a temporary thing. Getting a Zenith skin, though, if you're a massive rally leader, is going to be much more valuable than getting a Zenith skin if you're someone who's mainly fighting on the open field, where you're pretty much going to lose out on speed ups and resources. So, I recommend Zeniths for people who are rallying in garrison, probably people who are whales to get the most amount of stats out of them. And then for the lower spenders free-to-play, Zenith skins are literally bad value for you, because unless you're rallying or garrisoning, you're going to have to spend a year and a half fighting to get value from them. So, Zenith skins are bad value for low spenders and free-to-plays. Literally are not worth pushing, but for big whales, they are definitely worth it. So, overall, a lot of people have thought Zenith skins really improve trades, but unless you're fighting for 6 minutes straight, then it's not really a good trade increase. And it literally is probably a scam for most low spenders or free-to-plays to even consider putting their resources into them. So now, if you enjoyed my interesting perspective on the Zenith city skins, how they work, why they are basically a scam, and who should really go and invest in them with literal testing results, consider subscribing to my channel. And the reason I would really appreciate it is because I had to switch my fan off to make this video, and it's 36 degrees. I'm dying of heat stroke right now. Please subscribe. 75% of you are not subscribed, so subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps me as a content creator. It supports me. YouTube algorithm really loves it. I really love it. And to all the current subscribers, a big thank you to you. All the people who just subscribed, a big thank you to you. All the other people who didn't subscribe, shame on you. Now, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.